Rawya Rageh is reporting for us with the latest on that situation. Rawya, what have you been seeing there?
Well, Taimur, the situation on the streets of Alexandria this morning has been rather calm in the sense that there have been no renewed confrontations between the police and protesters. However, there is some serious tension still simmering here, and that comes as a result of comments made by the head of the police directorate here in Alexandria, in which he announced the results of the autopsy of the body of Bahaa Sanusi, and he is one of the first two people to lose their lives as a result of the confrontations in the past 48 hours. Apparently, that autopsy report says that Bahaa died as a result of a cut wound to the head, not as a result of gunshots. Now, there are two things going on here, Taimur. Number one, that this report is in itself a contradiction to the government's own initial account, in which authorities said that apparently a witness told investigators that Bahaa was shot dead by one of the protesters, a woman in her 30s wearing a headscarf, not by police fire. So the government contradicting itself. Perhaps more importantly, the fact that it's being completely dismissed by protesters and activists here who are saying it's yet another example that the government is trying to distance itself from any responsibility. They're now trying to convince the family of Bahaa, who was buried yesterday, to exhume the body and redo the autopsy in the presence of an independent medical team, and that they're already very angry and demanding another protest today at 5 p.m. local time. Taimur?
Rawya, we're just seeing behind you pictures, or alongside you, the pictures from the events in Alexandria last night, and fairly serious they seem too. But is the momentum there continuing? Are you seeing evidence of more to come?
Absolutely, Taimur. The confrontations that we saw here overnight were very intense. The people on the street telling us there's no doubt now, in their own words, that the military has shown its true colors. As you have just described, the remarks by the military in the past few minutes, a fairly standard line. And that's what keeps happening again and again, protesters are telling us. A fairly standard reaction from authorities and a fairly standard method of reacting to protesters on the street and their demands. One of the most important things that protesters are pointing out to here, the autopsy report that I just spoke to you about, they're saying it's exactly the same kind of autopsy report that was issued in the case of Khaled Said, the man who was described as the emergency law martyr, the 28-year-old Alexandrian man who was brutally killed by police forces under Mubarak in 2010. Back then, an autopsy report attempted to also distance the police forces from any responsibility. The same thing happening again now for the victims of these confrontations. So certainly people are telling us they don't feel that there's been any difference in who's running the country, and therefore no sign that this confrontation is going to die down anytime soon.
Rawya Rageh, live in Alexandria. Thanks, Rawya.